All right, let's talk about one of the most important services in all of AWS, Identity and Access Management, or IAM for short. Seriously, if you think of your cloud as a high-security building, IAM is the guard at the front door, the keycard system, and the security cameras all rolled into one. Getting this right is, well, it's not optional.
Okay, let me ask you a question to set the stage here. Imagine your company's most valuable stuff, all its data, its apps, everything, is locked away in a digital Fort Knox. Would you ever create one single master key that opens every single door and then just hand that key out for everyday tasks? No way, right? That sounds like a disaster waiting to happen.
And yet, that's kind of what you get when you first create an AWS account. That initial login, the AWS account root user, is that master key. It has absolute godlike power. It can do anything and everything, create things, destroy things. It can even delete the entire account. It's the one key to rule them all.
And look, AWS themselves couldn't be more clear about this. They practically scream it from the rooftops. Do not use the root user for your day-to-day work. It is just way too risky. Because if those credentials ever get compromised, an attacker doesn't just get into a room. They get the keys to the entire kingdom. So, the big takeaway here? We need a much smarter system.
And that smarter system, you guessed it, is IAM. So if the root user is that one risky master key, think of IAM as the advanced modern security system that lets you lock that key away for good.
So what exactly is IAM? Well, at its core, it's a service that lets you control, with extreme precision, who can do what inside your AWS account. And it does that by handling two really fundamental security ideas. And this slide just breaks it down perfectly. You've got authentication and authorization. Authentication is just asking, who are you? It's proving your identity, like showing your ID to the guard at the front desk. But authorization is the next step. It's the guard looking at a list and saying, okay, you're clear to go to the third floor, but you are not allowed in the server room. IAM does both of those things for you. So here's how it all works in practice. First, a person or maybe an application makes a request, like, hey, I want to launch a new server. IMA first authenticates them. Yep, you are who you say you are. Then, it immediately checks the rules, which are called policies, that are attached to that identity. If the rules say, sure, this person can launch servers, boom, action granted. If not, it's a hard no. Action denied. It's that simple. So, what do you think a service this powerful, this absolutely essential to your cloud security costs? You're looking at it. Zero. A big, fat zero. IAM is a foundational part of your AWS account. It doesn't cost you an extra dime, which means there is literally no reason not to use it, and use it correctly, from the second you create your account.
Okay, so we've got the security system itself. Now let's talk about the people and the applications that we need to give access to. You can think of these as the different members of your access team.
IAM basically gives you three types of identities to work with. First, you've got a user. That's pretty straightforward. It's one person or one application, and it usually has permanent keys. Then a group is just what it sounds like, a bucket you can put a bunch of users into. It's great for giving your whole dev team the same permissions at once. And then you have a role. Roles are different and they're super important. A role is an identity that gives out temporary credentials. And this right here is a huge security best practice. Instead of creating a bunch of IAM users with permanent keys that can get lost or stolen, it is so much safer to use roles. Roles hand out temporary credentials that expire after a little while. Think about it. It's like giving someone a guest pass that's only good for an hour, instead of giving them a permanent key to the building. It just massively reduces your risk. All right, so we have our team members, our users, groups, and roles. But how do we tell IAM what each of them is actually allowed to do? Well, that's where policies come in. Policies are the official rulebook for your entire AWS account. So what is a policy? It's just a text document written in a format called JSON that spells out permissions in plain language. It's designed to answer the big questions: who can do what, to which things, and maybe even under what specific conditions. Now, don't let the code on this slide intimidate you. It's actually really easy to read once you know what you're looking at. Effect is simple. It's either allow or deny. Action is the verb, what you're allowed to do. In this case, it's any action in the DynamoDB service. And resource is the noun, the specific thing you can do it to. Here, it's a database table called books. So this whole policy just says you are allowed to do anything you want to the books table. See? Not so scary. Policies generally come in two main flavors. You've got identity-based policies, which you attach to a person or a role. They answer the question, what can this person do? Then you have resource-based policies, which you attach directly to a thing like a storage bucket. They answer the flip side of the question, who is allowed to touch this resource?
So what happens when you have a bunch of different rules that might apply to one person? How does IAM make a decision? The logic is just beautiful because it's so simple and secure. First, by default, everything is denied. You have to be explicitly allowed to do something, and allowing a policy can grant you that access. But, and this is the most important part, a single explicit deny statement overrides everything. If there's a deny, it doesn't matter how many allows you have, denial always wins.
So let's step back. Why do we go through all this trouble? Why not just use that root user and call it a day? Because IAM is what lets us move from the chaos and the incredible risk of a single master key to a world of fine-grained, auditable, and truly secure control.
The real value of IAM boils down to these three things. You get incredibly granular control over who can do what. You get a safe way to give people shared access without ever sharing secrets. And of course, it just massively enhances your overall security.
And this is where the rubber really meets the road. With IAM, you can give your team access without them ever needing the root password. You can turn on multi-factor authentication, that code on your phone, for an extra layer of protection. You can even hook IAM up to your company's main login system. And best of all, every single action is logged, which is an absolute must-have for auditing and staying compliant.
And that's really the whole point, isn't it? By actually using all these features IAM gives you, you can make sure that access to your most important digital stuff is locked down tight and totally secure. Not too much access, and definitely not too little.
So, we started this whole journey with one single, really risky master key. But by using IAM the right way, we've replaced it with this powerful system of identities, rules, and temporary passes. Which brings us to one final empowering question. With a system like IAM in your hands, who's really in complete control of your digital vault now? The answer, of course, is you are.